Hi, and welcome to this week's Wu Wei Wisdom Life Lessons teaching. It's great to be back with you all. This week, we are talking all about the secret to self-motivation. So if you find it hard to get excited, motivated, and productive when it comes to your current life or your future life goals, this teaching is going to be for you. We'll reveal how you can become super motivated, excited, and successful, and not by doing some daily motivation practices or techniques, but instead finding and stopping that one mindset block that is throttling your motivation and holding you back from living the life of your dreams. Okay, David. So when it comes to motivation or lack of motivation, what are the typical things that your clients are coming to you with?
Yeah, so it is normally about the lack of motivation, Alex. They normally come to me and say, I don't understand it. I have this dream, I have this aspiration, I want something to happen, and I kind of lose steam. I lose all effort. I can't be bothered. This is a normal thing I have. I'm lazy. They'd even call themselves lazy. So let me give you an example. Just working with a client a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I really want to lose weight and I haven't got the motivation to lose weight. I do it for a couple of days, even a week, and then I just go back to the old habits. And when we do the technique that I'm going to demonstrate today, the golden thread, for those of you who are regular subscribers, you know the golden thread is a way to do the analytic, the self inquiry, if you like, about what is the reason. So we did the golden thread on him, and we found out that the reason really why he wanted to lose weight was to make himself attractive to members of the opposite sex. That was his motivation. And of course, he started to lose weight, but if that attraction didn't manifest, he immediately kind of mentally gave up on it, and he couldn't follow it through because the motivation wasn't kind of connected to really what he wanted. He was doing it for someone else outside of himself, for an idea that if he was a certain weight, if he lost 3 stones, then he would become attractive.
But I guess you could say that this guy wanted to lose weight because he wanted to attract a new girlfriend, a new partner, and that he really wanted to have a loving relationship in his life. And surely that was his kind of motivation. But I guess he was setting a goal. He was hanging another goal off that dream of having a dream partner, dream relationship, getting lots of love off them and attention off them because he was looking great.
And there's a problem, you see, because rather than doing it because he chose to do it because it's right for him, he was doing it on the reasons, and we don't know the reasons, could be many reasons, but a very convoluted way of being motivated. Well, if I lose this weight, then this will happen, then that will happen, then this will happen. Because I said to him, well, what happens if your plan works? You lose 3 stone, 2 stone, whatever, and you attract a girlfriend. Well, then the answer is going to be, well, I'll go back to what I used to do. Then I'll put the weight back on again.
Yeah, which is what a lot of people do. Once they get comfortable, they haven't got the pressure to look great to attract someone new. A lot of people do slide back to their old weight because I guess what you're saying is the motivation is gone. Well, the goal is gone.
In Taoism, it's called yi, intention. Your intention is not clear and you're not doing it for you to reach your potential, for you to be in your flow. You're doing it for an aspiration because he came up with this idea that if he was 2, 3 stone lighter, all of a sudden women would become attracted to him and he'd have to beat them off with a stick. And when that doesn't happen or it doesn't flow in the way that he wants it to, then of course he loses that spark and he goes back immediately to his old way of thinking. So he's not changing his beliefs or his thought process, which, as you can imagine, is going to be the key of the difference of the Wu Wei model. You have to change your belief. What he's trying to do is to try and arrange like the deck chairs on the sinking ship to make it right, and it never makes it right because you're not changing what you actually believe about yourself. Just let me give you another example. It just come to my mind. Somebody came to me and said, I really would love, I've got this idea of being, I think it's called a digital nomad. I would love to be sitting on a beach somewhere, doing an hour's work. Wouldn't that be a great life?
And presumably they were in a normal 9-to-5 job.
Yep, they was just stuck in a normal, what they would call a dead-end job.
Yeah.
And then they have this wonderful idea. And then they said, well, I can't be motivated to do it. And I said, well, what's stopping you motivated? Oh, they said, well, it's such a problem with the visas, and then I've got to find clients, haven't I? Then I've got to find somewhere with a good internet connection. And then they start listing all of the problems without being realistic in what they're trying to achieve. So this, what they're calling motivation, to me, is not aligning with the reality of the world we live in. It's what I would call wishful thinking or aspirations. You just come up with these wishful thinking ideas and you go, well, wouldn't that be nice? And then that dream, you start to kind of meander towards a dream, and then it falls down in a couple of weeks or months.
And I guess, so I can see in both examples with the client who wanted to lose weight, he had this dream, aspiration, wishful thinking that when he was looking super slim or super trim, then the right partner would jump at him and fall in his lap, and they'd live happily ever after. So that in itself is a dream or aspiration. Excited him, motivated him in that moment when he thought about that. But not in the reality of the day-to-day nuts and bolts of, well, I've got to exercise so much, I've got to change my diet consistently. I may not get all these partners buzzing around me, and which was what was happening to him. And similarly, the wannabe digital nomad who's stuck in the kind of office cubicle now had this very exciting, motivated dream because he'd seen other people do it, sitting on the beach, freelancing with clients, living his best life. But once the reality hit in, it's like your motivation takes a nosedive because it's almost like your dream is shattered. And it's like, is it a case of it's like our inner child is throwing its toys out the pram because our dream hits reality, and then it's like, it's not fair.
That's exactly what it is. So on both of those occasions, when you do the golden thread, and for those of you watching who perhaps it's the first time you've heard me mention the word golden thread, the golden thread is a process that we discuss in many videos. It's a way that you start from the emotion, and then you ask yourself the self-inquiry questions, why, until you come down to the core belief. And so, as you've expressed there, both of those core beliefs were not realistic. They were both coming from a kind of a dreamlike state of their inner child mind, wanting this utopian world. Wouldn't it be nice sitting on the beach for an hour a day with my laptop open and just doing a few things that I enjoy doing and being paid for it? Wouldn't that be a great job? But then when you look at the mechanics of it, well, hang on a bit, you've still got to work and you've still got to find clients and you've got to do what the clients want you to do. And maybe the client's in a different time zone to what you want. And when you hit the reality...
Yeah, there's lots of practical
issues. The dream world just falls apart and they go, oh, I just haven't got motivation to do it. Oh, I've lost my motivation. I've got no confidence in myself. Oh, I'm just lazy. Oh, I can't be bothered. And then you revert back to what you're doing at the moment.
But worse, because you're now totally dissatisfied, because in creating the dream, you've also talked yourself round as to the 101 reasons why it's really bad to stay in this office job, or it's really bad to stay overweight because you're never going to get a girlfriend or whatever. So you've completely dissed your current life off the back of hopefully capturing this dream you've created for yourself.
Well, it's funny you say that, Alex, because for the gentleman with a weight problem, he went a different way than what you said. He said, well, what the heck? I might as well put on even more weight. I might as well even more. I'm never going to find a girlfriend. Nobody's ever going to love me. I might as well just eat more. I might as well just throw it all in. I might as well just wash my hands on it. I'm not motivated. I'm not good enough. And then he goes to the 3 lies.
And this is the inner child. So
Yes.
you are no longer starting from a position of 0, if you like. You've allowed the inner child to now beat yourself up, become self-sabotaging, and you've dug an even deeper hole for yourself,
Yes.
which stifles your natural energy flow, your natural enthusiasm for life, your ability to be grateful for what you've got, to appreciate and see opportunities, because the opportunities for personal growth, for change, transformation in life are always there all the time. But when we have this closed, introverted, self-sabotaging mindset, we're kind of blind to those things.
Well, yes, because the reality doesn't match the dream world. It doesn't match this kind of wishful thinking. And so constantly internally, you've always got this inner struggle. So some of my clients will say, well, I've read so many motivational books and I watch motivational videos and they work for a while and then they give up. It must be me. But it's not that. It's because you haven't looked deeply and correctly and in Wu Wei in balance at your core belief. And you made your core belief align with reality. And the problem is when you're following your dream, if the dream is just a dream that's not attached to reality, then you have a big problem because you've got this kind of, I always think about it when I'm working with clients, it's like you see those pictures of 2 rutting steers banging their heads against each other. You've got this idea, wonderful idea. Wouldn't it be great if I lost 3 stone? My goodness, the women are going to be falling at my feet. And then you got the problem that, oh, well, I've lost 2 or 3 pounds and nobody's treating me any differently. And then you have this confliction inside of you.
But and I guess what you're saying is you can still have goals. You can still push yourself beyond your comfort zone. You can still transform your life. You can still have stretching goals and aspirations or dreams. But this reality thing is so important because the 2 clients, the guy who wanted to lose the weight and the guy who wanted to radically change his career, both of those things are still possible for both candidates within their grasp and could be authentic goals or intentions for both of them. But what you're saying is the belief that motivates those goals needs to be authentic as opposed to guided by our ego or what we would call the inner child.
Yes. They have to be something that the word I want to introduce here, and I say to my clients, the missing word here is passion. It has to be something that you are passionate about. So rather than doing it because of something else, or you want something else to happen, or you've got an idea, or you watched a film and you think, oh, that would be nice. It's something that's passionate for you, that you say the guy who wants to travel the world. It's because you love traveling. It's because you love living in different countries. It's because you like getting over the problems of visas and currency and going online. That's almost like a kind of that's almost like a joy.
Because anyone can say, well, yeah, David, I am passionate about the idea of working from the beach, or I am passionate about the idea of being super trim and having a great partner with me. Well, anyone can say that. But I think what you've just said is you also have to be equally passionate about doing the nuts and bolts slog, the day-to-day, dealing with the day-to-day challenges or difficulties that you will need, or little hurdles that you're going to have to step over in order to achieve this dream. You can't just be passionate about the easy stuff or the end product. You've got to be passionate about the journey.
Exactly. That's why I introduced the word passion, because I think there's a big difference between having this image, this ideal, this perfect world, this utopian world, and thinking that you're entitled to go from A to Z. You jump from A to Z, and you don't do the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You don't do that. You go from where you are now, and if you don't arrive at Z, then you go, well, it's not fair. It's there you go. There's proof. Poor me. It doesn't work for me. And it doesn't meet your expectations. And what I mean by a passion, if it's really your passion, you will do anything. The A, B, C, D, the road towards it, the intention, the journey is almost as great as getting there, because you can see that you're following your passion. Your energy is absolutely focused on what you want to do. And now this is what I would call motivation. No one has to tell you. You don't have to follow any books. You don't have to watch a video as every day. You don't have to sit in front of a mirror and say, oh my God, I'm so beautiful, because you are following that, what I call chi energy, that's in the right direction, that you know where you want to go to, and you will do anything to get there. You will climb through any mud heap or climb over any wall, because where you want to get to is what you're passionate, not a whimsical kind of idea. Well, if I lose 3 stone, then women are going to be attracted to me. You should want to lose 3 stone because it's good for you, because it's good for your health and well-being, because it represents how you want to be represented, totally about you. And if you want to go and live in another country, as you said, absolutely, by the law of attraction, which you all know I'm a great believer in, you will do it, as long as that passion is true, authentic, honest, and has integrity. See? And then we come back down to Shen.
Yeah. And so basically you can't be cherry picking which bits of the dream you're passionate about, because it has to be grounded in reality, and the reality of any goal, any life transition, any dream we may have means there are upsides and downsides. There is no perfection, and it's only our inner child that believes in perfection.
That's right. And that's why I introduced the word passion, because if it really is something that is really what you want to achieve, you're true, and you align the law of attraction, the downsides, as you call it, become a challenge that you want to meet and to succumb and to learn and to grow from and to enjoy doing. And so that becomes part of this wonderful journey to get to, it's almost like a kind of a direction, the way you want to go. And nobody has to tell you to do that, because you're doing it because you're passionate about it, because you're following your true course.
And that truth with yourself is so important, because I would imagine, David, for a lot of people, they say, oh yeah, I really want to do this, I really want to achieve this, but deep down they're not 100% into it. And then they're asking, well, why can't I motivate myself? And it's almost like they're lying to themselves. It's like, I really want to, I don't know, reach the top of my career ladder, but actually deep down they're not invested in the career, or actually they're just not in love with the job enough, and it's like they're saying one thing to people, but deep down they're believing something else.
And shall I tell you another thing that I hear a lot of, Alex, from my clients, is that they will say something. I've had so much problems, so much hardship, so much unfairness, so much injustice in my life so far, David. I now deserve this. The word I call it is entitled. I'm entitled to sit on that beach an hour a day and just type out a couple of emails and get paid hundreds of pounds for it, because the universe owes me. I need that to balance up. Like my gentleman friend saying, I deserve a really good woman who sees through my weight. I deserve this because I've had such a bad childhood. This is now something that I deserve. I am entitled to it. And of course, then that motivation is gone because the sooner you hit your first hurdle, you go, well, there you are. Look, what did I tell you? It's never going to work out. So he comes to me a couple of weeks later and said, well, I gave up because I stood on the scales and I only lost a pound. So I gave up. You see, there you go. I got no motivation. And because the core, and this is the life lesson here, don't worry about listening to motivation tapes and reading books. Get your core belief system right. I say it on every video. It's so important. What do you believe? Why do you believe it? So whichever it is for you, I want to change jobs. I want to move house. I want to live in a different area. I want a different partner. I want to get some exams. I want to get some qualifications. I want to move countries. And sit down very logically and work from your shin, your truth, your honesty, and your integrity. Do not work from your emotions. And this is where it goes wrong. If you're working from an emotion to set a goal, like all women are going to fall in love with me when I lose 2 stone. Oh, I'm going to sit on a beach in Thailand and type out a couple of emails, and someone's going to pay me 50 grand a year. Those are pipe dreams. So come back down, work on your truth, honesty, and integrity. And if it's what you want to do, then the ducks will line up. Then the law of attraction will kick in.
And just for people who are new to our teachings, David, you say work on your shin, connect to your shin. Can you just explain exactly what you mean by that, as opposed to working from your emotions or from your inner child?
Yes. So I believe quite strongly that we have to get through to a part of us that is not supernatural, that is not outside of us. You may call it your spirituality. You may call it your inspiration. I like the word shen because shen means that you're connecting to that truth, that honesty that you know, that integrity, that when you set a goal, you know to yourself whether that's something you really want to do, whether that's something that you are prepared to go that extra mile, whether you are, when everybody falls down around you, you are so strong and determined that you want to get there, you will continue. And that comes from within. I don't think that's in a bottle. I don't think you can buy that. I do not believe that anybody can give it to you. I don't believe I can give it to you. What I'm trying to do is to show you and help you to connect to what you already have. Most people will do what we're talking about based on an emotion. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't that be? Why do they get it and I can't get it? Why have they got a great girlfriend and I haven't? Why can they go on? Why are they not stuck in a 9 to 5 job? Boom, this is all based on emotion. This is all based on your emotion. Instead of coming back to the core, to who you are, and to design your life journey, living from what you know that you can achieve. I don't care what other people achieve. I don't care what they've got. Don't compare yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Just follow what you know. So when things go wrong, you become stronger. When things don't work out the way that you want them to, you're even more determined because you do not give up on yourself. And that's what I mean by Shen, that connection to that part of you that you would never give up on, that you will never betray, that you will never lie around.
And so I guess many of us, David, are so used to following our emotions to guide our life goals, whether it's because we believe we're entitled or we're comparing ourselves with other people, or because we're wanting some sort of external validation, which will actually never satisfy us.
And that's all emotional.
So we're kind of used to that habitual kind of connecting to that inner voice, that inner dialogue. How do we connect to our shen, as you call it, to do that kind of self authentic self-check-in that you're advocating? What's the best way?
So the best way that I would say is to make your principles, your standards of what you stand for, truth, honesty, and integrity. So let me explain those. Truth, what you say to yourself in your self-talk is the truth. There's no lies. You don't have to make up excuses. You don't have to think, yes, but maybe, but. However, it's the truth. You honestly portray who you are to other people. You tell them your truth.
Yeah.
You don't lie to them.
You don't say one thing to them, but actually believe something else.
That's what I was just going to say. You're not hypocritical.
Yeah.
You don't have a goal. Oh, I'd love to be doing this, but really, you're not really interested in doing it and you don't want to get there. There you are. You've just thought, oh, I'm not motivated. Oh, I really would like to do this. I really would like to start swimming more, cycling more, anything. It doesn't really matter, you see. It's just a wishful thought. It's not grounded in your truth, because you and I know that if you really wanted to do it, you would do it. So let's, instead of trying to go one way, go inside of you and say, why don't I want to do it? Here's the golden thread. Why don't I want to do it? And then, as I say, integrity. And as you just said, don't say one thing and then go and do the opposite, because that has no integrity. And what that does in that instance, it takes you away from the only thing that's going to keep you motivated, is because you believe in yourself and you believe that what you're saying to yourself is the truth. And you're not on this merry-go-round of saying one thing or doing something else, or saying one thing to one person and doing something else to yourself. And that's what keeps you on that track. And that's where I think motivation is misunderstood, because a lot of teachers will tell you, well, buy my tape or follow my course or listen to me every day and I will drive you to do more steps or more exercise or pump more weight or follow your dreams. But then you're doing what I'm saying. You're following them. And I want you to be following you. I want you to be the one that's following your dream. That's integrity. If it's your dream, it should be so important to you. I've said in many videos, I love the word inspiration. And this is how I think about the word inspiration. In spirit. You should be in your spirit, not because you're following what somebody, oh God, I've got to listen, I've got to put his tape on because he's got to tell me I've got to do so many steps. You're always like the victim. You should be doing the steps that you want to do. You should be doing the miles that you want to do. You should be setting up and going, living in the area that you want to live in, or taking the job or getting the qualifications simply because you want to do it. And there's the big difference. And so it's going to that root core. And here's the life lesson of motivation. Go to that real root core of who you are, what you stand for, what are your truths, what I call shin, what is your spirituality, what are your standards, what are your principles, and maintain them. Don't give up, because that means you lose your integrity. And if you value your integrity, you don't need motivation, because it doesn't matter what comes. You will do it, whether it's a cold morning, a rainy morning, a snowy morning, whether, whatever, you do it. You'll do it. Doesn't matter if you fail this exam, because you'll retake it and you'll pass it the next time. You'll do it because you're following your integrity. And then the word motivation becomes consequences. It's just cause and effect. You don't need it, because every obstacle that comes your way, you jump over it with a lightness and an inspiration of showing to other people who you really are.
And when you're in that state of flow, in essence, because you're fully aligned with your truth, you're connected to Shen, you're being truthful, you're being honest, you're having integrity, that then invokes the law of attraction, as you said, and that then supercharges the results. So you feel more motivated, you become more energized, you become more productive, more opportunities flow your way as well. So you're operating in balance and harmony with the universe.
Yes, and that's what I would call being a Taoist, being in Wu Wei, being in your flow, reaching your potential, doing here because not what other people think about you or what other people want you to do, because you want to do it. And that principle, that standard, that authenticity is the most important thing for you.
Brilliant. Thank you, David. Well, we really hope you enjoyed this teaching and that it's given you a fresh perspective on how to tackle your motivation problem so you can reach your goals and succeed and enjoy the life that you want to make for yourself. I will put links in the show notes to related teachings, particularly on things like the law of attraction and shin, so you can learn more about the Wu Wei Wisdom teachings on those subjects. If you have enjoyed this, please do let us know, comment, and maybe share it with someone else who you think would also benefit. If you are struggling with any of the issues we've talked about today, David works by Zoom video call one-to-one with clients all over the world every week. And if you want to know more about David's consultations, I will also put a link in the show notes as well. And finally, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We produce new teachings every week and we would love to share your journey with you. Bye-bye.